Hello. Gilbert. Bodie. Bode. Bode. Bodie. Hey. Bode. Bodie. He's found a friend. Come on. Birdie. Yeah, he's found a friend, bless him. Don't want to know me now. Bird. Oh, bless him. Hey, Friday the 13th. Unlucky for some, they say. I don't buy into all that. I believe you make your own luck to a large degree. There we go. So yeah, Friday the 13th. Come on, boat. It is what it is. The Bodie, there he is there. He's a bit scared of the noise today. Hello. Come here then. Yeah, he's a good boy. Come on. Come on. Oh, look, see? Come here, this way. Come on. Oh dear. Poor little thing. He's got his own quirky way. There we go. Glorious. Beautiful. It's a lovely, lovely day. Yeah, really beautiful today. Bird! Come on. I live among the creatures of the night. Yeah, look at that sky. Spring-like. Bodie, this way. No, come on, this way. Hey, come on. He does make me laugh. Hey! Come on! Right, I'm going to stand still, see if he comes with me. No. Right. Come on! Here! Look at him! Bird! Come on! Hello! Anyway, whatever you're doing today, have a lovely day. Ignore the rubbish about Friday the 13th and all that stuff. It's nonsense, really. You really do, to a greater degree, you do make your own luck in life, really. Bode! Come on! I'm going to have to go over to him, he's being silly. Hey! Come here! Right, we're away from the noisy scene now. Come here! Come on! Hello! Come here! Thank you. Hello. Hello, my love. Was you getting, come here, was you getting a bit scared? Yeah? Oh, it's okay. Let's go back over near the dunes. Yeah, he wants to play near the dunes. I live among the creatures of the night. On the drive over here, we heard that song. Who was it? Laura Branigan, I think. I don't know it really. I know we live among the creatures of the night. Hello, you. Wow. Yeah, it's lovely. Love the colour of this sand here. Oatmeal, I call it. Or light caramel. Oh, so soft. Hey, Bode. Bode, don't go disappearing, mate. Hello. Hello. You little menace, honestly. Scared, didn't you? Scared you are. You alright? You having a good run though, ain't you? I'll finish this video off in the car. I bought myself a nice Slurpee. So go back and have a fag and a Slurpee. Oh. Beautiful. Vitamin D. Mr. Solarface, eh? Wonderful. I was speaking to some travellers a few years ago. They were quite dirty people, if we're honest, they're just quite dirty people. And we're at a place called the Sanctuary, which is Wiltshire Way, near to West Kennet, Long Barrow, and all the rest of it. And they got their bedding out, piping hot day, got their bedding out and put it over the hedges and the fences and all the rest of it. And speaking to one of the women, she said the sunshine is fantastic, it's antibacterial, gets through the material and stops any dirt and, well, not dirt, but stops the smells and any bacteria build up and stuff like that. Absolutely wonderful. And in 1916, the great Spanish flu epidemic, they put a lot of the patients from the hospital at lunchtime between 12 and 2, they wheeled them outside in their beds under the sunshine. And it did them the power of good. It really does do the power of good. And nothing's changed, you know, we still need to get out and about when we can. If you can get outside, get outside. Let the power of the waves do you good, or the clouds, the sunshine, whatever. If you can get outside, get outside. It's so, so important. We spend far too long indoors. Where are you, Bird? Bird? Hello, my frog. Bird. Right, we're 1,000,000 miles away from the sea now, okay? There's a good boy. Right, thank you for coming back. Look, we're a long way from the waves, okay? Come on, love. What are you doing? We're going to walk around this way. It's alright, we won't go near the water. Okay, we'll see in a bit when we get back to the car. Got about 20 minutes, something like that. So we're just a slow plod on, really. Get myself a Slurpee and a fag, and then we'll have a chat. I'll leave you with the sky. Glorious. Absolutely stunning today. And like I say, if you can get outside, get outside. It does you the power of good. See you in a bit. Okay. I fiddled to get the camera right. Never going to get the camera right because where I park is always a bit iffy. Not as in iffy as in dangerous or anything like that, but it's it always cuts me head off. You've got a nice white beard there, and then hello, I'm here. Hello, can you see me? No. So it's never going to work, so if you're there, stop bloody dancing, Bri. How's that? Better? Slightly. Okay, so the topic on everybody's at the front of everybody's mind right now is obviously the coronavirus, and I have made a video about it. I said I wouldn't, but I made a video about it. I called it Project Fear, and I stand by that to a degree. Obviously coronavirus has got a little bit more serious now, as we know, or so we think, so we're told. But the Project Fear part of it is still very, very much in force. It's absolutely ridiculous that people are stealing hand gel from hospitals. They're buying copious amounts of hand gel from supermarkets, leaving the shelves empty, and the same with toilet rolls and bacterial soap and things like that. And what they don't understand, there's a couple of things. Everybody needs clean hands, because that's how it's caught. There's that little air on there. So everybody needs access to these things, everybody. When you go shopping, the dirtiest thing you touch is the shopping trolley handle, obviously. The money is filthy, and if you pay by card and you use one of those chip and pin things and you put your little code number in, they're filthy. Nothing gets cleaned. Supermarkets don't do it, they just don't clean anything. So you're putting yourself at risk even going shopping, and then to go shopping and think, I'll buy all the toilet rolls in the store or all the hand sanitizer in the store. That's Project Fear. Absolutely ridiculous. And you've got people now that are going without. You've got the elderly that perhaps can't get to the shops, or the disabled. You've got those on very low income that only go shopping perhaps once a month. So when they go, the shops are going to be out of stock by things, you know, certain things. So please, it's Project Fear. Don't believe the hype and the bullshit and the fear. Just stop panicking over it. It is what it is. There's so much misinformation now that it's difficult to find the truth. It really is difficult to find the truth. A friend of mine, I mentioned him the other day. He travelled to 3 or 4 different countries, and he came back, no checks or anything, came back to the UK. He's been absolutely fine. He's now back at work. They know that he's been away. And they had a nurse in who told him that the incubation time of coronavirus is 5 days. So after 5 days, if he hasn't got any symptoms, then he's absolutely fine to continue working. Now, why say it's 5 days? Everything I've read, it says it's between 2 and 10 days. So I pick on 5 days, because if he goes back to work at 6 days and gets ill on the 7th day, he may have infected people on the 6th day. And that's from a health professional. I told him that. So this is what I mean, you know, it's so difficult to find the information out. I've been doing a bit of digging and trying to find out things and what have you, and we're told by experts that this coronavirus is a new, brand new thing that we've never heard of before. God, that's nice. It's wonderful. Sitting on the beach with my Slurpee and a fag, how lovely. Yeah, we're told it's a new viral infection we've never heard of before, and in truth, it was heard of in the 60s, the mid-60s. Now, a friend of mine on the phone recently said, I saw on the news and they said they're working on a vaccine. They reckon a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months we'll have a vaccine. And I said, it's not happening. That's just false. Again, it's false news, it's just not happening. And he said, how can you be so sure? And I said, you know, that the coronavirus, COVID-19, has been heard of and has been known since the mid-60s. So for 55 years, they've been working on a vaccine, and I haven't found anything that's going to destroy it. For 55 years. Oh dear. So, I mean, I watched a news item on YouTube, and like my fag. And they said on there, it's a brand new thing, brand new virus we've never heard of before, so we're not sure how to treat it. And this was, again, some medical expert And yet the fact is, 55 years we've been trying to treat it. We've known about it for 55 years. That's most of my lifetime. That's the honest truth, but we're not told that. And there's lots of weird things now happening because you've got the Mayor of London. I'm not into politics, so you have to forgive me. I think he's called Sadiq Khan, something like that. Anyway, the government have just had their third Cobra meeting. A Cobra meeting is when they get everybody that's likely to be involved in, so they can get all sorts, all the government obviously, but the army, medical experts, disease control people, all the rest of it. They can get whoever they want into the Cobra meeting and decide on the next steps. So they have a Cobra meeting when there's a terrorist attack, or when there's something terrible happening, or when there's obviously a viral infection or whatever. They have a Cobra meeting. They always have done, and it's always worked. It's always a good thing to get all these people together. Now, the Cobra meeting, when Boris Johnson was Mayor of London, he attended every single one. He was invited to attend every single one, and he did. The mayor before him, I think it might have been Ken Livingstone, I can't remember, but anyway, he was invited to every single one and went, obviously. I believe the Mayor of London is called Sadiq Khan, and he hasn't been invited to any of these Cobra meetings. Bearing in mind he's the Mayor of London, there's 9 million people that he's in charge of in the city. Also, he has got the power, without asking the government, to close down the underground tube stations, to stop football matches, to stop travel. He's in charge of 3 airports, for God's sake, you know, and 9 million people, as I've said. And yet, he is not welcome at the Cobra meetings. And he wrote a letter to Boris saying, why am I not invited to Cobra meetings? And the letter was just ignored. And then they had the third Cobra meeting to decide whether to shut all schools and stop football matches, big events where lots of people are going to go to. And he wasn't invited there as well. So why not? What's happening there? That's strange, isn't it? It's just a strange thing. Can't understand why. Of course the Mayor of London should be there. But all in all, I think we've had so much rubbish that you've got to wade through the rubbish to try and find a glimmer of truth. And I have noticed that the government, the media, all the rest of it, they're very picky on what they're showing. There's 2 little videos of 2 separate people that have had the virus and are now back at work. They're fine. And they're telling their story. One of them says there's nothing to worry about. I mean, it was like a real bad cold for about 4 days. And within 8 days he was back at work and he was fine. The other one says it was terrible, and he got a bad cold, then it got worse, and then it got to the flu, but it was like the worst flu he's ever had. Then he got pneumonia and he couldn't breathe, and he was hospitalised and stuff like that. So which one of those is telling the truth? Are they both the truth? And that's more a possibility than anything, isn't it, that they're both telling the truth? However, I think that there's so many people now that have recovered that they should interview these people. They should interview 10,000 people, so we get a good overview of roughly what it's like if we do get it, because that is the Project Fear. That is what people are worried about, which is why they're washing their hands in vodka and bloody hand sanitizer, and they're buying toilet rolls like they're going out of fashion and things like that. The whole world has gone mad. My lovely friend Lindsay from Desmond Donders, I noticed she said that on something the other day. The whole world's gone mad. You're right, Lindsay. The whole world, well, very nearly the whole world has gone mad. However, when we're given snippets of information and we're not told the truth, you can understand people's panic and fear. You can understand that, and they're sold this Project Fear and people believe it. But it's just being sensible, being cautious, all the rest of it. The only good thing that the government have done, they said in the budget, is that if you feel unwell in any sort of way that might possibly be cold-like, don't go to work, and you'll be paid instantly sick pay from that day onwards, and you remain at home for 10 to 14 days and see how you are then go back to work. And I think that's great that you haven't got to go through any sort of rigmarole to get a sick note and all that nonsense, you know. You just sign yourself off, you self-isolate yourself. Self-isolation is something I've been doing for many years, isn't it, really? Being a bit of a recluse. Now I'm self-isolating. People seem to think that self-isolating is quarantine, that they've got to stay in one room of their house. That's nonsense. That's not self-isolating. Particularly if you live alone, then your property, the entire property, you can still use, but you can use your garden. You can come here, you can go for a drive, you can go down the beach, you can have a walk, you can bimble through trees and nature. You can still do all that as long as you're away from people. I haven't shook hands with anybody. I haven't come into any sort of contact with anybody. Nobody's been nearer than about 50 feet of me. So I'm self-isolating. And again, Project Fear, people don't know the difference between self-isolating and putting themselves into quarantine. But it's a matter of just being sensible. I think the common sense approach, I think that has kind of been diluted with this fear, Project Fear. So, I wish you all well. I wish you good health, obviously. Don't shake anybody's hands. Wash your hands in soap and water. That's the best. If you can't get soap, then use the hand sanitizer. But soap and water, that is the best. If you've got a cough or a cold or a bit of a fever, remain at home. Self-isolate. Pull yourself away from people. And just take the common sense approach. When you go shopping, buy the normal sort of shopping. Don't forget other people have got to buy things as well. And that's disgusting now that markets are saying only 2 bottles of bleach each, or 2 hand sanitizers, or 2 packs of toilet rolls, because people are greedy and people are being stupid. Don't let Project Fear win. Okay. Gonna finish my Slurpee. And then we'll have a slow drive back home, I suppose. Try not to worry and try not to panic. And if it is the end of the world, if it is the end of mankind, at least you know you're going to go out with a clean arsehole. Take care and be well. Ta-da!